So, 1, 2, 3. During the year 2017, a Route to Connect project took place. Thanks to this initiative, many people gathered in different activities and locations in order to learn, experience, and exchange knowledge and possible actions when it comes to current situation with people seeking refuge in Western European countries. Throughout 3 different stages of the project, young people got a clearer impression about migration as a topic and the current situation in the so-called Balkan route, where many people are stranded between borders inside the countries of this region. We put a sharp focus on the goal of socially including people that have a refugee background in our activities. Also, our goal was to activate and empower them to create meaningful initiatives in the future when it comes to raising awareness about the current situation with refugees and migrants in European society. The seminar took place from 10th until 15th of March 2017. It focused on the Spanish Civil War, which was, for us, a starting point from where we opened our perspective and analyzed the global consequences, dangers, risks, and best practices on forced migrations. From there, we refocused and closed perspective again and reflected together on the current situation. It was inspiring to learn about good practices of international solidarity that emerged from the civil society during the Spanish Civil War. It was important to remember that behind every human tragedy there is a political responsibility and many global consequences. It was empowering to do it together with a group of participants from so many different and enriching backgrounds. Before starting the trip, we find it useful to gather all participants on one place to get to know each other in a safe environment. We knew that the journey ahead of us would be full of challenges, and without internet and any communication with the outside world, we created an atmosphere of loyalty and trust. During these initial 3 days in Slovenia, participants could address common situations on the route and prepare to various scenarios. We took time to practice our clown performance with 2 clowns from Clowns Without Borders, and it was a very important part of the journey.
Five minutes.
In 10 minutes we are in Ljubljana, guys. We are ready.
ROG is a cultural center based in Ljubljana, and it is an autonomous social and cultural center set on the premises of a former bicycle factory. One of the parts of this cultural center contains a place for disadvantaged groups, like migrants and refugees, where they can cook, have language classes or other activities.
We don't know if they speak English. Exactly. Maybe they don't speak English. Maybe they are.
We can translate.
We had a chance to have our clown performance in a place called Slovenska Filantropija, a humanitarian organization which programs are aimed at increasing the quality of life in the community and advocacy for the socially weak.
What? This one is with Arab.
We're going to meet. Are we serious?
In Zagreb, we met with volunteers from Are You Serious, which helped a lot to people seeking refuge since year 2015. On medium.com can be found Are You Serious daily news digests from the field, mainly for volunteers and refugees on the route, but also for journalists and other parties.
Peace, refugees.
In Serbia, we first visited Šid, that is a city located in northwest part of Serbia, close to the border with Croatia. Aid delivery mission's goal was to bring to people one of the most basic human rights, food.
ADM, Aid Delivery Mission.
At the moment we visited Šid, this group of independent volunteers had a mobile kitchen where they were cooking for the masses of people coming to this city while trying to reach European ground. Governmental institutions did not provide basic aid to people without documentation. Us, as a group, joined them for one day and helped them out preparing the food and clean up the place where they were based at.
Evo zore, Bogu da se pomolim. Evo zore, hej, čuđem danje, a ja nisam s onim koga volim.
Cross the border and come to Turkey. Turkey and stay 10 years, 15 days. I crossed the first time Turkey to Bulgaria. Forest, please catch me. He beating me by forest. Why you are coming to Bulgaria? He out my cloth without. He sent me without only one underwear. He catch my bag, food things.
Like the first days, I don't know. I cannot really say because words they cannot put that into some shape because it's so like it's everything. But I would say it is really, really inspiring. I'm so glad to be with all the people because it's you feel the human energy and you feel how everybody wants to move and do things and explore, and it's great like within the group but also with the people that we meet on the route, with the volunteers and with the people in the camp.
In Subotica, we met with people from Asylum Protection Center, where we could hear more about legal rights and legislations of people seeking refuge in Serbia.
Well, when I came to Subotica, it was in the end of November. We used to have a community center, space where people could go during the day and charging phone, having internet, having a tea. For the food, we continue to give out like fresh vegetables and some stuff as fruits.
This past winter, as temperatures dropped 20 degrees below zero, the level of violence at Hungary's border with Serbia increased sharply, with many describing acts that can only be seen as torture. People of all ages, some as young as 13, were beaten, stripped naked and ordered to lie face down in the mud, snow or water for as long as an hour. Their clothing was taken or destroyed. Water poured down their necks. Ice pepper sprayed. Baton struck against genitals. Forced selfies with laughing officers. A 175-kilometer long fence has been set up along the Serbian-Hungarian border, while parallel efforts have been made to prevent the possibility of getting asylum through legal paths. From January 2016 until February 2017, Doctors Without Borders treated over 100 people in Belgrade alone with intentional injuries allegedly perpetrated by border patrols. These are not just rare and isolated acts of brutality.
Okay. Then I count 3, 2, 1, and we shut up all together.
Okay.
Shut up.
Ready? Don't even try to move because the microphone hear everything.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
You cannot love any passenger because they live not in one place. He cannot cheat with you, but they must go.
No offense.
يا من هواه إلى وصالك دلني يا من هواه وعزه وأدلني الذي حلفتني وحلفتني تركتني حيران صبا دائما أرى النجوم وأنت في عيش هاني لا أقعدن على الطريق وأشتكي تيرا ليلا تيرا ليلا ليلا
In winter 2017, the so-called barracks behind the bus station in Belgrade were home to around 2,000 undocumented people. Many organizations and volunteer initiatives gathered their forces to keep these people fed and warm in very harsh conditions. Without a proper shelter, these people were in life-threatening conditions. Many of them had different stages of frostbite on their extremities, and most of them were showing first stages of hypothermia.
It was the exit point when the route was in transit. It's one of the points where which my organization Legis established as a point of as a support point. So there are 2 camps in Macedonia. One is in the south of Macedonia, in the border with Greece. It's near Gevgelia. It's called Vinoyuk camp, and this one is on the north border with Serbia. It's called Tabanovce, and the Serbian border from this camp is just 500 meters away. In the moment we have 16 people outside of the camp. For whom he doesn't have the possibility to decide to put them inside the camp, and he can, like in terms of resources there are, because there is no political decision, he cannot actually bring them in, so they have to stay outside.
The reception center in Preševo, with 1,500 places close to the border with Macedonia, was opened during the summer of 2015.
Okay, let's go to the parade.
So in 2014, started the first casualties of the people who died on the roads, on the railway in Macedonia. And many people also told us that there are groups who are coming and walking through Macedonia from Greece to Serbia. And we went to discover what is happening, and that's how we started our first work with the refugees, to see the situation and to alarm the institution.
Truck Shop's aim is to provide people living in refugee camps all over northern Greece with clothes and shoes, offering a mobile shop in a truck filled with items, so that every person can choose the proper sizes and their individual style. In Veria refugee camp, we were not allowed to gather any audio or video footage, but instead of that, it was possible to play with the kids and talk with people that are inhabitants of this camp. Each volunteer in the group has his own specific task according to his preferences: photographing, drawing, writing poems, or collecting stories from people we met.
Hello, my name is Aladdin. I am from Syria. My nationality is Palestinian. I live now in Greece since 1 year and 2 months. I hope all the countries help us, the people refugees they are in Greece, because the situation here is very bad in most of the camps. This is my question for all the country and all the government. They say we will help refugees. Why the border is closed suddenly when the people come in? Why the border is closed suddenly in front of the women and children? My dream for my family and all the people that are now in Syria to be safe. That's all.
The flow of migrants displaced by war and economic crisis from Syria and other countries into Europe has been increasing for years, but 2015 has seen an unprecedented explosion. Following on the heels of 2014, when over 600,000 people filed applications for asylum in the European Union, by far the largest number of asylum seekers are coming from Syria, fleeing the brutal civil war that has stretched now for years. But large numbers of migrants have also arrived from Afghanistan, Kosovo, Eritrea, and other conflict-torn nations.
We visited Skaramaga's refugee camp, where we had our clown performance for many children that were waiting for something to break the monotony of an everyday life in the camp. This camp is a home to more than 1,000 refugees at the moment.
love FICPA because it helped me very much, and I learned English, French, everything there, and it helped me to learn English and French, and I like that really so much. FICPA is very nice.
We took one day to clean the beaches of Scala Sicamines with volunteers from organization called Lighthouse Relief.
The problem is
Borders.
borders.
And I want music now. يومية تحرق قلبي الأشواق، هيجي جازي اللي بقلبي خلاك، كل لحظة أباوع على روحي وأبكي، والله تعبت من كثر الهم والله.
Kara Tepe camp is based near Mytilene, in Lesbos Island. Refugees are first received in Moria, a detention center for asylum seekers and migrants. After 25 days in Moria, vulnerable community members transfer to Kara Tepe. The camp's residents include families, single mothers, and people with mental health challenges. Thanks to the village's managers and many NGOs, life in Kara Tepe is easier than in many refugee camps.
بشتقنا إليهم إليهم والله معذبني بعيون الحلوة كنا ستة على النبع إجا المحبوب صرنا سبعة كنا ستة على النبع إجا المحبوب صرنا سبعة الله يلا 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 يلا
Mosaic Support Center is built on principles of solidarity, integration, and empowerment. It has the aim to move beyond immediate crisis response and to offer sustainable structures to support refugees in their resolve to live with dignity.
Out of life jackets. This is brilliant, really.
I like the
out of life jacket.
Yeah,
oh my God.
life jackets, and they're doing a lot of things. It's amazing. Kind of small bags for ID or big bags for
purses, everything.
purses, and big bags for laptop from the life jacket.
Everything.
Everything.
Everything is recycled. So they don't even buy glue. They make it through flour and...
Everybody's gonna learn how to juggle in that little place. And one of the directors knew how to juggle. They're very smart. They knew a lot of English.
Got their asylum? No.
I don't know.
No,
I never have time to ask about people.
They are Dublin. One of them, they told me that they are Dubliners. So no, they have the Dublin process. And then also we had a flat tire. And we had to change the tire.
Time to say goodbye in the morning sun.
We need to say goodbye to Lesbos.
Bye-bye, Lesbos.
Leaving Lesbos. It was a bit of everything. Very good, very bad, very sad, very happy. Very nice people. A lot of people treated very badly.
I would say City Plaza is a refugee accommodation space, but not just this, it's also like a political project. More or less 400 people are living inside of City Plaza. You have so many different nationalities inside here and so many different people with so many different backgrounds and intentions.
As far as I know, we haven't lost not even one immigrant or refugee. No one has committed suicide or got killed. In camps you have all the time suicides, desperate people, people that are dislocated from the major city centers. And in contrast to that, you have the squats that are inside the fabric of the city, and especially Exarchia, that we have more than 6 squats, housing squats for refugees and immigrants. That you see the people in the squats that are actually not integrated, but they feel part of this small community. We learn from them how to evolve our language and how we can break the borders of our mind and political beliefs and lower them so we can listen to them. So the whole process of finding the common ground with people that they come from a completely different cultural, social, political background and meeting somewhere in the middle, and they're trying to form a new kind of space. I think it's one of the best political actions that can happen.
Local raising awareness actions related to our 2-week journey throughout the Balkan route happened in home countries of participants: Belgium, Serbia, Switzerland, Italy, Kosovo, Greece, Portugal, Macedonia, and Finland. Volunteers, together with an SEI branch from their own country, implemented these actions during summer and autumn of year 2017. Our aim was to give visibility to local associations and actions run by refugees, to spread and disseminate stories of people we met along the route, but also share experiences from an inspirational seminar in La Jonquera, Catalonia, where we went deeper inside the topic of Spanish Civil War and history in general. All of these elements took place throughout the follow-up actions we organized in our home countries. We also reached various components of European society with a realistic representation of the situation that occurs in European Union borders, but also in the Balkan region, where people are stranded for months in refugee camps, reception centers, and so-called jungles, woods and parks in the outskirts of several Balkan cities.
عرفنا بنظرات العيون قالوا ترى ذولا يحبون من الصغر لما يكبرون مثل نجمة والقمر كبر حبنا والزهر بعيونك حبيبي نبتدي دروب السفر لا 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 عالجرف قعدنا ليالي مر النهر والنخل عالي تغيرنا وكبرنا يا غالي ظل النهر والنخل عالي مثل نجمة والقمر كبر حبنا وازدهر بعيونك حبيبي نبتدي دروب السفر لا 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 لا